basically.
Okay, hello. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Let's Talk Fishing video podcast. My name is Jay Angel, and I'm going to be your host. The Let's Talk Fishing podcast is brought to you by Crusher Lures, Grant Rods, and the American Bass Club. With me tonight, I have a guy who's been on a couple of times, a guy who's, I don't even know how he's a fishing guide. Toledo Bend, one of the places I cannot wait to get out on the water and fish with this guy. Anyways, I have none other than Zach Gagnard from the Elite Guide Services. How are you doing tonight, Zach?
Oh, pretty good. My voice is kind of messed up for some reason. I guess, I don't know, being on the lake a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. I've been on Rayburn for about 2 weeks solid, so.
Yeah, how about that? I don't do anything a little bit.
No. It's I've been on Toledo for about 3 or 4 days, and then Rayburn the rest of the time here lately.
Yeah, so are there other crappies starting to migrate yet?
Man, they're still on the piles out deep, honestly. On Toledo they are anyway, but some of the older stuff, or like your old standing timber stuff, lay down stuff like that. Yeah, and you're good, Dave. And stuff like that really seem to hold them better than the new piles, like your newer brush that people are putting out and everything. This time of year, the older stuff seems to hold a little bit better. So, like, if you have some natural stuff like old laydowns and stuff like that, they seem to hold a whole lot better than your actual brush piles right now.
And are the bass still out deep now, too?
Man, the lake's turning over, actually. Toledo and Rayburn. Both lakes are, there's dirty bubbles everywhere. You can tell when the lakes turn over. The shatter from 10 foot all the way down to 50 foot. The fish are schooling everywhere, just like singles, though, right? Like on Rayburn today, there was hundreds coming up, but they're singles, and they're spaced out so far you can't hardly catch them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can see big clumps of algae all over the place?
No, it looks like dirty bubbles.
Dirty bubbles, okay.
It looks like dirty bubbles. You're good, Dave.
Because the lakes I used to guide up north, you'd see big clumps of like black, nasty algae that came up.
No. It looks like a boat had ran through like a bubble trail, but it's just brown freaking bubbles instead of white bubbles.
Sure. It's just this crap from the bottom coming up. Yeah.
Right. It's all the stuff out the bottom and everything. The bottom end of the lake's coming up to the top, and the top's going to the bottom. Is all that's going to happen. And which it's going to make the fishing a little slower. You can tell out deep today. Yeah. Like, it just makes them kind of lethargic, actually.
So do you ever guide Rayburn, or you just guide Toledo Bend?
Man, I used to a good little bit, and they got where you can't fish tournaments hardly anymore. So next year I'm gonna fish more tournaments on Rayburn. So I've just been going over there just fishing again, basically.
Okay.
Now I was with a buddy of mine today named Chris Thornton. He owns Cajun Tackle House, and we went and checked some stuff, for the open he's got coming up. So, but all we did today, really, we stayed shallow. We did the South Louisiana thing, basically.
Okay, so you bank beat?
Kind of, sort of, on certain key stretches, which I really don't want to say nothing because he probably mad.
Sure. Don't say anything.
It's little key stretches in the grass. Once you figure it out, me and him ran it from one end of the lake where the grass is right. So there's basically a 10-mile section of the lake that the grass is right in those areas. And once you find the right setup on the right stretch of grass, it was almost automatic. You could get bid for, and Rayburn's fishing tough right now, which Tater Reynolds, they had 25 this past weekend. And then it fell off, right? It goes to 18, 17, 17, 15, 15, so on. So today we probably had in 2.5, 3 hours about 13 and a quarter. And I lost another one about 5. So, and just running those key stretches, but that's fall fishing, right? You pay attention to the details, pay attention to your water, like water depth. If you were a foot shallower than the right depth, you didn't get bit.
Wow.
And if you were a foot too deep on the back end, you didn't get bit. It was a certain 3-foot section, water depth that you had to be in with the right grass, with everything.
Wow.
It got really specific. I haven't been on that specific of a punch bite in a long time. It's punching. It really is punching. So
Yeah,
it was
punching is not the easiest way to catch fish.
no, but it's a freaking blast when they bite it. I love it.
Yeah, it is. Yep, I would agree with you there. Yeah, it's a blast.
Right.
Particularly when you've been snagged 18 times in a row, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
you pull up one time and there's something pulling back. It's like, whoa, really?
Are you flipping there and it just never stops? It just keeps falling, keeps falling, keeps falling.
Yeah, you can't. That's happened to me too.
Yeah.
I pull up another snag, so I just half-ass pull, and then it pulls back and it's gone.
But you know how you punched before, right? You get what?
Oh yeah, man, you know where I live.
You don't get a lot of bites. We probably had 13, 14 bites today in about 3 hours punching. Once we figured out the deal. Now we still caught some fish deep, drop shot and Carolina rig and cranking, but I just can't catch a big one out deep on Rayburn right now. And I don't understand it. They're there. I can see them. They just won't bite. I guess it's with the lake turning over. It's got them a little messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, geez, very few things mess up a lake more than the fall turnover.
Yep.
Very few things, Ice up.
Yeah.
Which has probably only happened once on Toledo Bend.
Dude, yeah. That was what was that? Last year, a year before last? We had that big ice storm or whatever it was.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah.
The back of Patroon froze all the way over.
Wow.
Now, you couldn't walk on it or anything, but it was freaking froze over. Me and Tyler Stewart went to Caney the Monday after it thawed out, and the backs of the pockets had ice on them. We caught 31 pounds.
Jeez.
But Tyler's a wizard over there. That dude's special.
Jeez.
But trying to think what else. So you want to talk about basically how people can pattern fish in the fall to try to help them out, basically, instead of
yes. Let's talk about fall patterning for crappies on Toledo Bend. Then we'll talk about bass for a little while.
Okay. All right. Well, the fall pattern on Toledo for crappie is they're basically going to come back to the same places that they did in April and May. So they leave, right? The big majority of them do. And we have new fish moving every day, right, on our piles. They reload every day.
Sure.
But the piles that are closer to the creeks, not as far on the main lake, are going to get better as it goes into the fall. And then once that goes away, it's all going to be a river channel bite or a dock bite. If you can go shoot docks, which you can't guide them. But if not, you have to get in the river channel and just scope timber basically on the edge of the river. Is what you have to. And then you'll catch 2 or 3, 5 or 6, 8, 1, 0. Just keep moving until you keep catching them. You're not catching the same ones. You're going to find different groups of fish.
So how are you fishing for these fish in the fall? Are you bobber? Are you slip?
No, they're deep. They're 15 to even the really deep fish are in 30.
Okay.
Once you get into the winter months, they're going to get into that really deep range, and you're just dropping to them, or either throwing a jig to them, just like you would on a brush pile. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing.
So you're not using any minnows, just
yeah. When I say dropping, I'm talking about a shiner and a weight. You take your weight and put it 6 inches above your hook and just drop it down to them. So you have your weight, then your hook, and you just hook your shiner on there. And I hook mine in the back.
Oh, you hook yours in the back. Okay, you don't lip hook them?
Nope. And the reason I do that is whenever I drop down, say I get a bite and I pull on it, I can feel that shiner. I can feel the weight of the shiner if it's there or not. If you hook them in the lips, you can't feel that. And plus they swim. So how's the shiner sit in the water when it swims? Like this?
Yeah.
When you hook it in the lip, it's going to sit like this or maybe like this, right?
Yeah.
So this is more natural.
It is. It is.
And they swim harder. If you hook them, you barely skin hook them right below their back, they live a lot longer.
Okay. I did that wrong for so many years. It's not wrong because I caught.
It's not wrong.
I caught fish doing it, but I could have maximized some things,
Right. It's all preference, right? And then
we We had the fathead minnows up north, which are a little more hardy than these shiners down here. If you shout at a shiner, it dies.
They die.
Yeah, they're
They die.
just very sensitive. You can't insult them. You have to be very nice to them. And
Oh yeah, you got to keep the water temperature right in the bucket and all that.
yeah, shoot, I have broken ice to get to fathead minnows, and they're still fine.
Right.
You know?
Dude, I think the air went off. Oh, give me 1 second. Just 1 second, okay? I
Okay.
think the air went off. Hold on. Somehow or another, I got turned off. All right, we're good.
Okay, guys. Well, if you haven't figured it out by now, Zach Gagnard is a full-time fishing guide on Toledo Bend. He takes out mostly crappie fishing trips, but you're going to start doing a little bit more bass fishing, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm getting back into it more like I used to be. You know, I did that originally for basically 4 years, and then I went off to the crappie fishing for the last 4 years, and now I don't know, I got the itch again.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Oh, it completely makes sense, seeing as where you live.
Right. You live in between two of the best lakes in the South.
Yeah. Yeah. So what, you live in Hemp Hill?
Well, I live in Manny, but I'm always in Hemp Hill.
Okay.
If I'm not on the lake, I'm either here or Toledo or Rayburn, basically.
Very nice. And what kind of boat do you guide out of?
I got a 920 Phoenix, and then I got a 24-foot Avalon with a 200 on it for my party barge, my pontoon boat.
So you have a pontoon boat for the crappie fishing.
Yes, sir.
And a 920 Phoenix.
Yeah, just the 920 Phoenix with a 250 XS on it.
Just?
Yeah. I've had that thing forever, man.
But you said just. It's one of the
I've had it for 6 years now, I think.
Yeah, but still, it's one of the cooler boats ever made.
Yeah, and it's pink.
That's what I say, you know. Even I could look cool in a Phoenix.
Yeah, mine's pink too.
Pink?
Yep. It was the third fuchsia boat ever made.
Okay.
I had one, Ken had one, and somebody else had one. I think Scott Jordan had one. And then I got the third one.
So crappie fishing has slowed down because of the fall. Because
it's actually about to kick back off, really.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So like September, August, and everything up here is really not the optimal time to come. Now, if you want to catch some really big fish, once we get a couple more cool fronts and that water temperature falls another 5, 6, 7 degrees, which I think it was like 83 today on Rayburn.
Okay.
The crappie on Toledo are going to fire back up, and it's going to be really good for about 2 months. And then it's going to go, yeah. Then once it gets really cold, then, you got to fish really deep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So average size crappies that you catch on Toledo Bend?
This year, man, they were really big. They were 10, 11 inches, 12 inches on average.
And that's average, with a big one being?
We had ones 18 3/4.
What is that, about 2.5 pounds?
It was 297.
I have 2 of them on the wall that I caught up in Michigan that were 16 each, and that's a monster up there.
Yeah, these ones over here, man. When they get that yellow tint to them, man, like those black crappie, they get a yellow tint to them. That's the big ones. When you catch one's got the yellow tint to them, I guess just because they're older.
Sure.
Dude, them suckers got shoulders. They look like a linebacker.
Yeah, in Illinois, they'd get a green tint to them.
Right.
They start because when they grew bigger, they'd go into the deeper water and just stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the spawn, of course,
Right.
And still, I never caught a 14 inchers in the spawning areas ever.
Really?
Those are always at 12s. A big one in the spawning area would be 12.
Right. Did we catch those big black crappie down here whenever they get up shallow on little road runners and popping corks?
Yeah.
You catch really big black ones.
Wow. That
Like,
must be fun.
like
Man,
2 pounds.
the crappie spawn on a lake like that must be just
Live scope has changed that completely. It has changed
really.
the way that you crappie fish in the spring. Used to you go down a bank with a a cork or a road runner or whatever, and you fish till you found them, right?
Or you sight fish, yeah, you can see them.
Yeah. Now you just literally put your live scope down, look down the bank. When you see a big school of crappie, you sit right there, keep throwing to them, keep catching them. And then
Wow.
some days they move, you just live scope and find them.
That's what it was always exciting up north where you have clear water.
Yeah.
But because you can see them, and but you had to be extra careful because if you get too close,
oh, they're spooky.
Yeah, if you get too close, sometimes they know you're there, but they'll let you get close, but they won't bite.
Exactly.
And sometimes they're kind of like white-tailed deer. Sometimes if you blink at 300 yards, they're gone.
And sometimes you can jump up and down and they won't move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it 100%.
Also, I've shot at whitetails before, and they just sit there and
yeah.
What was that?
And sometimes you click your safety off and they're 60 yards and they run off.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. That's a whole other discussion.
Oh, yeah. But, man. So now you're going to start looking for them in the river channels?
Yeah. Once December, January hits, that's whenever that kicks off.
Okay.
Because, it don't get cold here to January, basically, anyway. I think January 3rd last year, me and my cousin were fishing on the north end of Toledo Bend in shorts and T-shirt. And that's when the real cold front came in for the first time.
Oh, yeah. That's what I tell my friends up north. Down here, I wear shorts 10 months out of the year.
Right. Yep. Yeah, and then after that, it gets really cold. So that's whenever all that deep stuff out in the river really takes effect. But until then, all the old stuff and stuff in the creeks and stuff like that, they're going to migrate back. Don't get me wrong, right? But you have a population of fish, just like you have a population of bass that never leave deep water.
Yes.
They spawn deep, they live deep, they eat deep, everything deep. They never come out of deep water. You have a population of fish in every, basically, shallow and deep. Now, some of them leave, some of them don't, but you're still going to have a migration going back into the creek. So if you can find anything off the main feeder creeks, like laydowns, piles, or anything like that, they're going to be really good here coming up.
Okay.
And, in that 25, 22, mid-lake, down south about 28, and north of the bridge, 18 to 20.
Okay. So you're gonna be assisting in the marketing of a calendar, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're actually already started doing that.
Okay. Tell our listeners about the calendar.
It's I wish I had a copy of it. I don't. It's LA Bass. It's basically a lot of people, I guess, have seen LA Bass around South Louisiana, but it's me and Jared Fontenot. It's actually Jared Fontenot's baby, and he brought me on to help him. And what we're going to do is sell ads in a calendar, and you can buy it for every day. If you want to buy one day per month, you can buy bigger sections. Wish I had a dang calendar with me, but anyway. So the big deal is it's going to be centered around high school kids fishing. So we're going to take for each month and take a kid, take his picture and put it on the calendar, right? So he looks like the star.
Sure.
It makes them feel good about, fishing and wants them to get back and, start fishing and all that stuff and help them keep going. Also help them, if they want to promote their sponsors or anything else, it's whatever, right? It's on their jerseys, whatever they want to do. And the big kicker is we're going to take 10% of all profits and donate back to the area high school fishing teams.
Okay. Now, if someone wanted to find out more information about this calendar, could they go to the LA Bass?
No, the Facebook page. You can message me or Jared directly, or you can call the number on here. And his name's Jared Fontenot.
Jared Fontenot from LA Bass.
Yep. He's actually going to be up here next weekend. Me and him's going fishing.
All right.
But it's a really cool deal. It's inexpensive. It's tax write-off for everybody, apparently. And we really got together and cooked this up, or he brought me the idea. And, I really like the 10% giving back to the kids because, it helps them with everything that they have to do to be on a high school fishing team.
It's expensive to be on a high school fishing
Right.
team.
It is. I think the average is what we come up with, like $600 a kid.
Yes.
Basically, you got to bring in to the fishing team. This alleviates all that for them. Because you talk about this, right? You sell out that calendar in that area, that's $10,000 to $15,000 going to the high school fishing teams.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not.
That may seem like a lot of money, folks, but when you're talking gas for a 250 horse motor, plus food, plus lodging, plus entry fees, it's endless. Then I've never fished a tournament where a battery was bad.
We had a lithium blink to yesterday.
Yeah, see, I've never fished
brand new lithium.
Where I've had to borrow batteries from locals. I've had to borrow batteries from the tournament director. I've had to go and buy batteries when I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
I've had to not eat on the way home from tournaments because I have $8 in my wallet and I still have 70 miles to drive.
You just gotta hope you get there.
And I don't get paid till Tuesday and it's Sunday. Oh my God.
But when you love it, right?
Oh yeah. That's what I say. Yeah, become a tournament fisherman. They said it'll be fun. They said
it's fun when you're winning.
Oh yeah,
it's a blast when you're winning.
If you ever win, because for every person that wins, there's 250 who don't. Right?
Yeah, I like to win.
Yeah,
I like to swing for the fences though.
Yeah.
That's the way I fish. I fish to win, and it don't work out a lot. But when it does, you look really good.
You know what? With the health problems I've had in the last couple of years, I kind of gave up that dream. But every time I fish now, it's like fun because if I going to catch anything, I don't care.
Right.
And
see, that's kind of what. Right, and that's kind of what bass fishing did to me. I fished 311 days in 2016.
Sure.
311 days. I got burnt out.
Yeah, you did. It's happened to me, buddy. It has happened to me.
I fished 250 days, 8 years in a row now. I fished over 250 days, 8 years in a row now.
See,
put that into perspective for people who want to be guides and saying that it's easy and we have an easy life. It's not.
It's easy. It's not. It's easy.
Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. You can see how tired I am right now.
Guiding is easy. No, man, I'll tell you what. I also worked a full-time job and I was a guide. And I would have to pull my boat 60 miles to work all day, come back, grab my boat, run to the lake, be on the lake at 4. And I got off work at 3:30.
Yep. See,
buy some bait, hook up with my customers, get done at 9, get home at 10:30, clean out my boat, hook up the battery, get the bait ready for tomorrow, go to sleep usually about midnight, be up at 4 so I could be on the road at 4:15, 4:30 with the boat. Work for 6.
Yep. I actually had it easier than that, I guess. I never had to have a real job. I had a real job for like 2 years of my life, 2 or 3 years maybe. And then I just started fishing and it kind of just worked.
Also, you were in a better place than I was. I was in Northern Illinois where there's only the only full-time guides are Lake Michigan charter boat captains.
Right.
There were some of us inland guys, but we didn't get to fish that much because nobody's going to pay $500 to fish on the lakes that are there. They're just not that good.
Right.
They're not Toledo Bend,
Yeah. And see, when I started, 2014, 15, Toledo Bend was Toledo Bend, right? Like it was top notch, grass everywhere. And then the year that the grass left, we freaking mollywopped them on a crankbait. All those fish that were out in that deep grass and that 2021 range that had never seen a crankbait, like really seen a crankbait, like dipping on the bottom, kicking mud up, they had never seen that. And those fish were just stupid. They were really stupid, but they were so big. They were big, big. It was so much fun.
That sounds fun, man. That sounds
But
just
that's
fun.
what kickstarted my whole guide career was Toledo Bend being Toledo Bend.
The home of the Giants.
Yes. The second year I was in business, there was 42 lunkers that were actually, or 132, whatever it was, something between 130, 150. And that was just the ones that were brought into certified scales.
Yeah,
I called,
ones that were reported. Yeah.
right. I caught an 11-2 that I let go and never brought back the same year.
That's what I would do.
I was holding her and eggs were running down my arm.
Yeah.
It's either you put her in the box and she spawns in the box, or you put her back. I'm putting her back.
I would just want to get a photo of her and put her back.
Right. Now, the whole replica program over here is absolutely phenomenal. Now, it really is. You bring them in, they put them in, they weigh them, they fizz them, they take care of them for 24 hours to make sure that they're good to go, and then they release them back into the lake. It is phenomenal.
Is that the Texas Share Lunker program?
No, it's the Toledo Bend Lunker Association program.
Okay.
Any fish over 10 pounds caught on Toledo Bend, you get a free replica provided by the Lunker program.
Wow, I might consider doing that.
That's what I was talking about. I didn't bring it in because I was going to go get – that was my first one over 10. The first one I ever caught over 10 was that fish. And I had the live well open. I done weighed her and everything. I was on a guide trip when I caught her. Caught it flipping hay grass, actually.
Wow.
Of all things. And I can tell you I boat flipped it, but you wouldn't believe me, but I really did.
And you didn't break your rod?
No, I don't know how. I was throwing a ducket.
that must not have been in your pontoon boat.
No, it was in the Phoenix.
Because if you boat flipped it.
No, she went to jump. Yeah, dude, it was one of those situations like I thought she was an 8 or 8.5, and she went to jump, and I just picked the rod up, and she come in the boat, and we all stood there and shot for about a minute.
You already had momentum going in your direction.
Yeah, she was coming up with her mouth open. I could see her down there. The water was really clear. I could see 4 or 5 foot, and she's swimming out, and I'm watching her, and she opens her mouth to come up, and I just grabbed the rod and just pick her up. When she jumped, just kept her coming, just set her in the bottom of the boat like that. And whenever I set her at the bottom of the boat, I realized what I did, and I was like, I just looked at him. I was like, guys, I think I messed up almost.
I would have sacrificed a rod for an 11-2. Yeah,
dude, it was so cool. It was one of the coolest.
I don't know anybody who wouldn't sacrifice a rod for an 11-2.
I know Colby Miller boat flipped a 10-pounder because I told him I did. He boat flipped a 10-pounder in a tournament.
Now that's something I wouldn't do.
He was flipping, punching hay grass, same deal. Fish come up, jumped, he just picked her up.
I would want if that was during a tournament, I would want both hands on that mouth. You're not getting away from me. No.
You just don't understand the stuff we used to do. I boat flipped a 7.5 one time on a 8XD during a tournament on 12-pound line. Yeah. Like stuff we used to do, we should have never won the tournaments we won. It was just we were lucky. We're stupid.
Well, that's why you won.
Yeah, we didn't care. We didn't care. No, we're just having fun. We're catching 7-pounders. Who cares?
Yeah. When I was young, I was the same way. I just didn't care.
No. We used to make guide trips fun, right? We'd throw really light line on baits, and we would boat flip fish on them just to, make people have fun with it. And you catch like a 7-pounder on a crankbait during a guide trip, so you just boat flip them, right? You just, if you lose it, it doesn't matter, right? If they lose it, that's a big deal.
Yes.
As long as they got to see it and everything. And we used to do that kind of stuff all the time. And so it just became habit for us doing it, and we were confident in doing it because we did it all the time. And I'm not joking when I say all the time. Like, Toledo used to be incredible.
So you keep going back to this used to be. What happened?
Well, every lake goes through, ups and downs, right?
Sure, it does, yeah.
So with all this, when we had Harvey come through, they sunk Toledo, it came up to 175, 1 or 2, which is the highest thing it's ever been in history of Toledo Bend. They sunk the bottom.
What does it usually run at?
Do what now?
What does it usually run at?
172 is normal.
So it went up by 3 feet, but that's an incredible amount of water.
No, it was at 170 before that.
Okay, so
It came up 5 feet overnight.
Wow.
Almost 5 feet overnight for a 180,000 acre lake, or 160,000 acres.
That's an incredible amount of water.
Yeah.
But that was Hurricane Harvey. Okay.
180,000 acres, 62 miles. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So they opened up all the gates at the dam, right? So there was 11 gates open at 21 feet. So there was more water. This is per whoever down there, right? There was more water going out of Toledo Bend Dam per cubic feet per second than over Niagara Falls at one time.
Sure, I believe that.
So when they did that, a lot of the grass got sucked out. Like it,
because of the way they open up those dams, it
basically just sucked the bottom.
Yeah, it pulls water from the bottom. There's an incredible amount of velocity coming through there. Yeah,
right. There were 10-pounders in the tops of pine trees on the south end of the dam. Like 6, 7, 8-pounders in the tops of pine trees after it was all said and done. Yeah, it was pretty incredible to see.
It'll come back. Nature has
it's coming back. But it's still that's just one of the reasons, right? That's not the whole reason. The lake was ranked number 1 in the country for 2 years running. We had guys coming from everywhere, right?
Yes.
I took people from Oregon, Washington. I took people from Canada. I took a guy from Switzerland. All these places fishing on Toledo Bend, and that span whenever it was really good. But here was the downfall to that. You had guys coming in here that didn't care about the lake. We care about the lake. You would pull up to the boat ramps on the south end, which the south end's clear. You would see 5, 6, 7, 8-pounders filleted, laid in just their heads laid in the water on the bottom down there. Had a guy show me a picture of 2 10-pounders and a 9-pounder on a piece of plywood in March one time. Yeah. But that's the reason. And the way that they pull the water during the spawn, it really, really, really affects the spawn. Because the water be in the bushes one day and then they suck it out. And these fish are getting ready to do their deal, right? Yeah. But this last year and the year, this last year we actually had a decent spawn, I think.
Well, if you have high water during the spawn, you're going to have
a good spawn. That's what you need.
But like you said, it has to be for the entire spawn. You can't
have it half of it and then jerk the bottom out. You can't.
And then the Army Corps is going to come in and open up those gates wide and.
Right. Well, it's not a core lake. Toledo is not a core lake. It's
really?
Toledo is not a core lake. It's a power generation lake. Toledo was made for making electricity.
Okay. I'm glad you know that. I didn't know that.
It is not a core lake.
Wow.
No.
Well, so man.
I know a lot about that side.
And that's good because, but by trade, I'm actually a hydrologist. So
right.
I'm thinking about I study rivers for a living and keep records.
Right. And see, Rayburn's the same way. It's a power lake, right? It's made to generate electricity.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm used to the TVA.
Right.
And of course the Army Corps.
Right. No, that's what Toledo was originally designed for, was a power lake. It's not a power plant lake. It's to generate electricity with turbines.
So you have turbines that are down there on that dam.
Yeah, okay. We call them they're hydros. We call them. We always call them the hydros.
Sure, that's what they are.
Yep.
Interesting, man. You threw me off here.
Don't I always?
Because now I'm thinking science and wanted to ask you science questions, and no, this is not a science show.
We can get to the science of why there's no grass in Toledo Bend, but I don't think people want to hear that.
No, they don't want to hear that.
You can get me going on for days about that.
Well, I'll tell you what. When I get out in your boat, we'll talk science.
Oh yeah, we can talk about the whole deal.
And you know what? I'll talk with you all day about that.
We're gonna catch some fish too.
That's good because I definitely want to. Zach, I'm just gonna tell you, I want to fish with you.
Yeah, dude, I told you that the other day. We got to shoot a show on the water.
Yep, we will do that.
Yep, I think it'll be good. I think we get Hunter involved in it. Get Hunter on Me and him and you go crappie fishing that morning, then we'll go bass fishing that evening, set up GoPros and back. Yeah, it'd be good.
It would be awesome, dude. It would be
Yes,
absolutely awesome. So,
sure.
Zach, do you have any shout outs you'd like to do?
Just Hydrotech Marine Services here in Hemp Hill, Texas. If y'all need anything, look us up. We're right here across the street from Dairy Queen, right in between Toledo and Rayburn.
Wow, what a place to be, man.
Yep. And then look up Cajun Tackle House in Morgan City, Louisiana with Chris Thornton. Great people. Do anything in the world to help you and whatever y'all need. He does everything. He's awesome. Just check him out. And LA Bass. Look up LA Bass if y'all don't mind.
LA Bass. I know both these guys, folks, both Zach and Jared Fontenot. Both of them are Class A solid men. This is going to be a good thing. It's going to help out the high school bass fishermen. A lot of those kids, they'd love to do it. They just can't afford it. It's the price tournament fishing. It's the things you have to pay for when you're tournament fishing. It's endless.
Yep. I actually am working on something else you might like. I don't know if I actually told you this. I'm working on putting on a free seminar for 150 to 300 high school kids. And I've talked to Tyler, I've talked to Chris, talked to a couple other guys, and we're going to, I got a guy that's actually going to come cook for everybody. Like He's going to donate everything, and we're going to basically give all this to these high school kids and let them meet some pros, talk to everybody, and it's going to be free of charge to the kids.
Where are you going to put this on?
I haven't got that together yet. Thinking Toledo Bend or somewhere around Alexandria. But it's probably going to be at a high school, at a gym or whatever. And I think we should do 2 a year, honestly, is what we're planning on doing with LA Bass. And it's, it's strictly to get kids in front of some guys that they might never get a chance to talk to.
It's a great idea. You can talk about everything from how to approach sponsors to.
Yes, everything. We can go over business side of it. We can do everything.
Man, you can even have breakout sessions. Wow, you got my brain working again.
And the whole deal is, right, we're not trying to make any money off of it. We're trying to do this just for the kids. That's why the kids' admission is completely free. And we're not charging, they can bring a parent with them or whatever. They don't have to pay for that. So now we'll have like vendors and stuff there if they want to do stuff like that. But we'll have the food provided and stuff like that too. So
let me know. I can help with that.
Okay. The more stuff that we get for free, sponsor donations, stuff like that, then the less that we have to, we really don't have to charge anything hardly.
Exactly.
Yep. So that's the deal, right? And then, if people want to come set up booths to sell stuff, then we might, eventually get into that too. And just make it a whole festival type deal centered around high school kids fishing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That sounds like a great idea.
Somebody gonna go and steal my idea now. It was really good.
Well, let them.
Right, but that's the direction that LA Bass is going, and that's the direction we want to push, and that's going to basically work side by side with the calendar.
One thing, if somebody tries to steal that, one thing they're going to learn is, man, this is a lot of work.
It's a whole lot of work. I've been working on this for a month, and nobody even knows about it.
Yes, I know.
We had basically a company meeting, which is me and my wife and Jared, and we talked about everything. My cousin Chris, and we all talked about it, and it's actually my cousin Chris's little brainchild he came up with, and I love it. So my cousin Chris helps with backside of stuff too on LA Bass that nobody knows about. Shout out Chris. What's up, Chris?
Well, okay, man. Zach, I appreciate you coming on the show. I know that you're tired. Yeah. I know you fish for like 38 days in a row usually.
I think it's been right at like 3 weeks now or something.
Yeah, so I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
I actually got off the lake early to come do this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you.
I really did.
I appreciate you, Zach. So anyways, I appreciate everybody who tuned in to the Let's Talk Fishing video
Yeah.
podcast. Folks, the Let's Talk Fishing video podcast is brought to you by Crusher Lures, Grant Rods, and the American Bass Club. And Zach, stick around.
Okay.
I'm going to end the podcast now. And you know what, guys? Get out there this weekend and have some fun on the water. Because remember, you only get to do this once.
Yep. Go catch one.